When's the show gonna start? I want to see George Canyon. Hi there. How you doing? My name's Bubbles. How's everybody doing? How you doing? What's your name? Alrighty then. I need a drink.
Drinking, thinking, liquor, logic in a can. Your brain cells parted, and your body believes you're Superman. That's just drinking, thinking, and here's where the trouble starts. The more you drink, the better you think you are.
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Road Rats. This one is going to be doing our first review for the final season of the Road Rats. This is our review for 301, titled Poison of the Eye. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Road Rats. This one is going to be doing our very first review for the final season of the Road Rats. This one's going to be for Season 3, Episode 1, Poison of the Eyes. So, this one is going to be getting into the first episode of the end of Road Rats. That's right guys, there is one more season left of Road Rats, and we got to see the double premiere tonight for Episodes 1 and Episode 2. Now, these episodes I was... luckily enough, I was able to actually stream these episodes early, so thanks to Megamat, I can get these reviews out very, very quickly. But let's jump into these episodes now. So Episode 1, starting off, first off, this was a phenomenal premiere. This really was. I mean, I had a few issues throughout, which we'll get into. I had a few things that I didn't like, but for the most part, this was a really, really spectacular episode. So, this episode basically focuses on our group. They are now captured inside of Cypher's compound, and they are forced to submit to whatever the hell he wants them to do, right? And we get a really, really awesome introduction scene where we actually see probably, in my opinion, the most well-shot scene of anything I've seen Matt do. Like I'm not even joking. Like, the way this introduction scene was filmed was so good, where you have Cypher who's telling, like, the history of like ciphers and a lot of old history that we've never really heard about, and it's filmed through a lot of like different perspectives. There's like a different game that's used. I remember Matt telling me to film this opening scene, and it was a really, really awesome opening scene to the series, to the season. It was really, really good, and it was a really awesome opening scene to the season. It was so good. The cinematography, like I said, it's the most well shot scene I've seen of this entire universe. It really was. And it was a cool way to start for Cypher as like our lead villain, telling us this story and stuff like that. So I thought that was really, really amazing. Now we get the updated intro. Obviously, we know that this is the final season, so we have a lot of our characters and their kind of like updated appearances. And we get a bit of an extension of the music in this one as well, so that was pretty cool. And then we're back, and we get to see how Dax is doing. We get to see how Jem is doing inside of the facility. We see that Cypher kind of is taking a bit of a liking to Jem. That's one of the things that we see a lot of in this episode, is that he doesn't really want Dax around her all that much, although he does let Dax see her in this first few scenes, which I thought was, pretty cool. Now, one of the things that I want to point out of this episode, I can't even believe this was made, is there's a scene in this one where Dax and Jem end up watching The Room, which is one of the most funny movies you'll ever watch. If you haven't seen the movie The Room, check it out. It's absolutely hilarious. But there is a scene in this one where you actually see them watching that, which I thought was friggin' hilarious. Now, that was such a highlight to me. Now, we get to see Chang in this one. We get to see some of their guys as well, too, working outside of the facility. And you've got Dan in this episode, who is a major focus, right? And he is upset, obviously, with everything that's gone down with, Carly, of course, and everything that went down with Chang last season. And he wants to strike back against the Dragons. He feels like this is a good time to do something like that. Which, obviously it's not. Obviously, whatever he does, it's not going to go good. But he's going to try to take out, the problem, right? Which you can understand why Dan is acting like this. You can understand why he's acting a little bit out of emotion. Did he pick, the right time to do this? Yeah, definitely not. But, he still, I would say, is struggling to, get past what went down last season. So I enjoy the conflict between him and Chang. Unfortunately, Chang puts him in his place though, and Dan has to kind of just submit, you know? And that's a lot of what we go through in this episode is like, you know, our characters are trapped, but they want to fight back. It's just a matter of how, you know what I mean? Like, how are they going to do that? And, you know, you got subtle moments where you can kind of tell, like, Cypher knows that they want to try something, but he's not going to let them, obviously. Now, you do get this, like, side mission in this episode with Cypher, Dax, and Jem, where they go back to the old Road Rats nest, like the old one from Season 1, which I thought was really, really cool. And they go there and they want to basically turn that place into something for Cypher, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now, the only real flaw I have with the episode, and it's something I'll bring up, is that I found it to be a little bit lazy, that Dax and Jem are not, you know, thinking about taking out Cypher in that scene. And not for their characters, because they want to take him out. But I find it a bit odd that Cypher would go out there on his own with no men on his side, no nothing, and just completely trust that Dax was not going to try something, you know what I mean? Because yes, you could make the argument that, you know, some of Dax's people are in the facility in the big tower, right? So obviously he's not going to make a move on Cypher. But I find it a bit of a clumsy move on Cypher's end to where he doesn't bring any men with him, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and there's a scene in episode 2, I'd say, where that is corrected, which we'll talk about in the next review. But with this episode, I just found it to be a little bit weird, and it kind of made Cypher feel a little bit like unbelievable, if that makes any sense, that he wouldn't take any men with him on this mission. It's my only real problem with the episode. It came off as very weird and very random, and he put a lot of trust in Dax given the situation that they're in, you know? Like, if he had an army with him while he took Dax and Jem to this place, it'd be like, oh, okay, obviously that's why Dax is not doing anything. But just Cypher on his own going on the mission with them, it came off as a little bit like, really, dude? Like, really? You really trust Dax to not at least think about trying something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The scene was a little clunky to me, but that's the only thing I didn't like. Now, we also get introduced to a few new characters. We get introduced to a few new dragons in this one, like Vivian, and we got that other dude. I forget his name, but he's got like the red shirt and like the, you know, the tied back hair and stuff with like the ponytail or whatever. So we get introduced to a few of them. I kind of get the vibe from the Vivian character that she doesn't really want to be doing this, you know. I kind of get the vibe that she might be one of them characters that ends up flipping down the road. That's at least the vibe I get when I see her. But now let's talk about the major scene of the episode, the dinner scene. So, okay, this scene was insane. Oh my god, this was crazy. So, Dan, unfortunately, with all of his outbursts throughout the episode, you know, he has to pay the price in a way, right? So, you got all of them, they're gathering around in this building. Cypher is making them, you know, have like a big dinner or whatever. One of his people come in and tells him that the dinner is going to be a little bit late, right? And Cypher doesn't like that, you know what I mean? He's tired of him slacking off. He's tired of him, you know, doing all this stuff. And Cypher kills one of his slaves. He straight up just kills him right there in front of Dax and in front of everybody that's sitting around the table, which I thought was pretty telling of what kind of guy Cypher is. And then you've got Dan, who unfortunately then has to pay the price. You've got Cypher that realizes that Dan has been acting up lately. He knows that he can't have that inside of this facility, and Cypher puts Dan to rest. He does. Yes, guys, Dan is killed in this episode. The character that I'm named off of. So, it's, you know, it's all good, Matt. It's all good, dude, but, like, damn it, man, really? So, yeah, anyway, it's fine, but, I really enjoyed his death, you know what I mean? It was very shocking, it was very out of nowhere, it really added to what kind of character that Cypher is, you know? And I thought it was really intense. And he makes him drink the wine, the poison wine, and then Dan starts to, you know, bleed from the nose, bleed from the mouth, and stuff like that, and he starts to go down. And Cypher tells Carly in this episode, you're gonna watch him die, or else, you know, I'm gonna kill somebody else, right? So that was intense, and she has to sit there and watch Dan just die like that. But it was a really shocking moment. It was a really intense moment for the premiere, and it's my favorite scene of the episode, probably, just because of that. It was super intense. It made Cypher really, really intimidating for that scene, and I couldn't believe that he did that. I could not believe that he did that. So rest in peace to Dan, I guess. I guess so. I'm gonna miss him. He was a really cool character in the series, but, you know, I like the shocking element of the death. It was very, very well done, and it really was scary for Cypher. Now, we get introduced to another character at the end of the episode, which name is the Sergeant, who's going to be doing something with Dan's corpse. Now, we saw the fake Luke at the end of last season, so I'm assuming that this is going to be explained in full detail, but for now, I thought that was a cool introduction for him. We'll have to see what exactly he does with Dan. And yeah, now the episode does have a bit of a cliffhanger at the end where we have Porkchop. He has a interaction with a survival of the fittest character, which I thought was really cool, where he's basically walking around, he sees like all of these like rebellion signs, people that want to take out the dragons, but we don't know who necessarily is leaving these signs up. And at the end of the episode, we get introduced to Duke, who is a character that, if you don't remember, he was at the end of Survival of the Fittest 615 with Warwick. So we're going to have to see where in the timeline this takes place, but Porkchop has now met Duke, who was with, you know what I mean, Porkchop and Warwick at the end of last season. So they were all, the three of them were all together. So this obviously takes place before that timeline, so we're going to have to see how all the timelines kind of link up, right? But there you go. That is the premiere of the Road Rats. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed the premiere. I thought it was really enjoyable most of the way through. There were a few slow moments, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I thought it was good. The only thing I didn't like was like Cypher and Dax's little mission. I wasn't too big on that, but everything else was really amazing. Dan's death was super grotesque, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what is left for this final season. It's going to be insane. So we'll have the review for episode 2 coming up right after this, so make sure to stay tuned and stand by for that. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of the Road Rats. So if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any other reviews for the Road Rats. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of the Road Rats. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.